But I know that an argument happened, and the only two that were there were you and him. He's dead, you're not.
This is Melissa Turner, the last person to have witnessed her boyfriend before a death so brutal that it would shock detectives. However, as this investigation proceeds, dark and disturbing secrets come to light that would prove that Melissa is much, much more than just a witness. She is a murderer.
My problem is I got Matthew on the back porch with stab wounds, and the only people that were there were you and him.
I love that man with all my heart. I never had those thoughts in my mind. I wouldn't have let him just die had I known.
Melissa Turner was born in 1992 and lived a happy childhood. However, things took a turn for the worse during her teenage years. She began gaining weight and insecurity began growing about her appearance. But this would be when she took matters into her own hands. Melissa began creating content while trying to lose 100 pounds, and soon enough, her content evolved to cosplaying and escalated to explicit content. She began garnering a large audience, and because of the attention, soon began to overcome her insecurities. And from this point onwards, Melissa's life would only get better. In 2017, she went on to meet Matthew Trussler on Tinder, a gentleman who was the first to treat Melissa with such intense love and care that she would go on to say no one else made her feel the way Matthew did. He gave Melissa all the attention she needed, and unsurprisingly, she felt drawn in. After 2 years of dating, in 2019, the couple took the next big step in their relationship and moved in together. Although Matthew was still looking for a stable job, Melissa seemed to happily support him, but these dreams of a happy future would come crashing down 8 months later. At 8 a.m. on October 18, 2019, Melissa woke up to find Matthew was missing. As she searched for him, she found no signs of him throughout the house. That was until she noticed something on the patio, the cold and bleeding corpse of Matthew. Melissa immediately attempted to administer CPR while trying to contact the fire department and made an emergency call to 911. As soon as authorities arrived, they found one of the most disturbing scenes they had ever come across. Melissa was a mess, covered in blood from trying to administer CPR, whereas Matthew was beyond the point of saving. As expected, Melissa was distraught. She had just lost the love of her life on a day when everything seemed normal. Despite her mental anguish, Melissa agreed to an interview with investigators at Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office.
No, I don't.
This is some cold water for you.
Thank you.
I tried to find some nice soft tissues.
It's okay.
That's what I was able to get, okay?
I'm not too concerned with you.
I just, you look very upset.
I look like a mess. I saw myself. Got in blood all over my face.
I'm sure you've had better days. But given the circumstances, I understand, okay? So now we're here at the CID office. I just want to go over a couple things with you real quick, okay? Just so you know, our rooms are audio and video recorded, all right? There's a camera right there,
I've already seen it.
okay?
And
And
the recorder over
we
there.
have digital recorders, so just in case that fails, this thing picks up what we say, okay? And it's to protect you and to protect us, so we can never say that you said something that you didn't, and you can't say something that we said that we didn't. You know what I mean?
Understand.
Like I told you back at the scene where I met you at, correct? And today's date, just for the record, is Friday, October the 18th, 2019. It's 10:51 hours. Met you over there. And Miss Turner, we're gonna go at your pace, okay?
I'm sorry.
It's okay. Listen, you
The
don't.
date called me because a month and a half ago, we went to Cade's and we picked out a living room set, but it was on back order. It was supposed to be here this week, but it was delayed.
It's not
And it's gonna show up, and I'm gonna have this couch We picked it to him behalf of my chair. It was a love seat with a console in the middle. It was supposed to be me and him. And it's gonna show up, and what the do I do with it now?
I don't know.
It never even got to sit it with me.
I'm so sorry. Look, I know this is difficult for you, okay? So we're gonna go, we're gonna take our time.
Okay.
You know, obviously, you're very upset, and I can understand why, okay? Let me just go over a couple more things with you real quick. I had asked you if you were willing to come back here and talk to us back at the house, is that correct?
Yes.
And the deputies transported you?
Yes.
Did anybody put any handcuffs or anything on you?
No.
All right. Just so you know, that door right there is unlocked, okay? If you walk out the door at any time during the interview, if you want to, you go to the left and you're in the parking lot. All right? You know that you're not under arrest and you don't have to talk to us, right? I told you that back at the scene. The reason I'm telling you this is because I'm not here to try to trick you.
Melissa is understandably all over the place, and since there is no evidence or probable cause yet, she is not under arrest. For now, officers deal with Melissa sympathetically, like a woman who just lost the love of her life in an awful tragedy. However, what they don't know is that at some point in the interview, the sole witness of the crime would turn into the sole suspect.
All right? I'm just trying to figure out what happened. Okay? Let me go over a couple basic things like your name, and where you live, and your date of birth, and stuff like that, so we can get it on the record.
Stand by, please.
Yes.
Like I said, this is the and you, I was provided your name, Melissa Turner. Is that correct?
Yes.
Can you spell it for me?
Melissa Turner.
All right, Miss Turner, do you got a middle name?
Rose.
Rose, like the flower?
Rose.
Okay. When's your birthday?
November 25th, 1992.
Now, was other than me asking you what your name was at the scene and you know who you lived there with, did I ask you any other questions about what happened?
I don't believe so.
Well, I didn't, other than what your name was.
It's
No, I know. I just want to make sure that we cover that. That I didn't ask you anything or anything like that at the scene there. Did the deputies ask you anything in the car pertaining to this investigation?
no, because I told them to talk bullshit to me, tell me about things that don't matter.
Kind of keep your mind off what's going on.
Absolutely.
Okay. And where can you raise your right hand for me? You swear everything you're going to tell me today is going to be the truth?
I swear.
Okay, you can put your hand down.
Do you want to keep wearing those gloves, or do you want to take them off? Because it's my understanding a deputy had you sign something, or you were handling a pen, so he had you put those on because he didn't have blood.
Bloody, because I was covered in his blood.
To take them off, you're more than welcome to take them off.
It's completely up to you. I just didn't know.
If it's uncomfortable, your hands will start your hands start getting sweaty and that, and get all yucky.
I'll leave them on for now.
Okay. Very
I
nice.
don't know if I can handle just taking them off and seeing that the blood on my hands.
You swear that everything you're going to tell me is going to be the truth today? You can read and write the English language?
Yes.
Do you know where you're at right now?
Yes.
Do you know what's going on?
Yes.
Are you under the influence of any drugs or alcohol?
No.
All right. In fairness, when I was talking to you earlier back at the house over there, I smelled a little bit of alcohol on your breath.
We were drinking last night.
No, that's fine, and there's nothing wrong with drinking. I just want to make sure that I cover that, so I know what your state is when I'm asking you questions.
Yeah,
That's
no,
all.
we were drinking last night,
Okay.
but obviously not since I woke up.
When's the last time you had a drink?
Probably 10-ish last night, 10:30 maybe.
I'm not trying to pick on you, and I don't want you to get upset with me. I'm just trying to cover. In fairness to you, I could smell it, so I don't want to Listen, the only thing I have in this world is my word. I don't want to play any tricks or anything. I could smell it, so I wanted to ask you about it. Is that fair?
That's fine, because, I mean, I get up early all the time for 4:30 in the morning. So by 10 o'clock at night, I'm normally spent, and I told whoever I was talking to there that I remember just being tired. Yeah, we were drinking, but I just remember being tired and curling up in the chair.
Who do you live there with? What's his name?
Matthew.
Matthew? What's Matthew's last name?
Trussler.
Can you spell the last name?
Trussler.
And you two live there together?
Yes.
Does anyone?
We bought the house together. It's only us.
When did you all buy the house?
January.
Of this year? How long have you been dating Matthew?
2.5 years. We're engaged.
You said you had some animals there at the house?
4 cats, a dog, and a snake.
Wow. So you like animals?
We do like animals. I was telling the deputies, he was like the animal whisperer.
Yeah, I know when we were leaving there, you wanted to make sure they were safe and okay.
The cat that went over to the neighbors, Blue, the gray one, adopted us. She jumped into the truck with him one night when he was coming home from a friend's house and just slept in his lap.
Mm-hmm.
He loved animals.
When's the last time you said you went to bed? What time did you start there? What time did you go to bed last night?
I mean, like I said, we were having some drinks. But I remember getting really tired around 10, and I just wanted to go to bed. And 10:30ish was when I remember 10:30, 11 maybe is when I remember going to curl up on the chair, because I slept on that big chair that's in my little office area downstairs.
Okay. What were you guys drinking?
Vodka.
Just vodka? Anything else?
I mean, vodka and Coke and water,
Were you having drinks or were you guys taking shots?
We were taking shots.
Would you say, now I don't know what your alcohol tolerance is, what would you say you were intoxicated? When you went to sleep?
Well, I was taking, he can drink he could drink you under the table.
Does he
He
have
had a
drink?
high metabolism, and he was just always running through booze. I remember I made a specific point of it even earlier in the night to tell him, I want to stop, let's take a break, and for an hour and a half, at least earlier in the night, I didn't drink a single thing, I just had water, and we ate and everything, we had, we ate dinner, and that was it, and I mean, I got drunk, yeah, but not obliterated, I would say I was beyond being just buzzed, because we did get drunk, but that's what we did, we were there at the house ourselves, that's what we would do on a night when we didn't have to get up and do anything the next morning, we had drinks. He always liked drinking. He was a drinker.
Did he have would you say he had a drinking problem or no?
He had a drinking problem.
Okay.
I can't bullshit you. I mean, his mom will tell you the same thing. He did. He would admit it himself.
What about you?
Me? No.
Besides the alcohol last night, were there any drugs?
No.
We're not the drug police, so
No.
I'm just asking.
No, he would never touch any of that.
What-
Because that was a deal breaker for me, and he knew that. He knew if he touched anything like that again, that he would lose me.
Okay.
That was my #1 deal breaker with him.
And I'm assuming.
So, the drug police, he was not shy about it in his past when he was younger. He was into hard drugs.
Okay.
But it's been years since then, because he knew that was my #1 deal breaker. He touched it again, we were done. I didn't give a shit. That was it.
What kind of drugs was he into previously?
Heroin mostly. I didn't know him at the time that he was on drugs. This is him telling me about his past. He smoked weed all the time. He did heroin, coke, every now and then maybe. I don't know anything else, really.
Okay.
But it had been a solid 3 years since he had touched any of it.
It is indeed true that Matthew suffered from drug addiction in the past. According to Matthew's brother, Sean Trussler, the brothers originally belonged to Massachusetts. During his younger years, Matthew suffered from substance abuse. However, he realized he needed to get his life back on track. So in 2015, Matthew moved to Florida and began to work with his brother. In Sean's words, Matthew was a hard worker with a big heart. He just needed to be guided.
You said that you all bought the house back in January. Did you move in then?
Yes.
Okay. Where did you meet him at?
Tinder.
Tinder? That's a dating app, right?
Yeah,
Then that was 2.5 years ago.
it was. April 26th was our first time meeting in person.
When did you all actually start living together?
Around the time that Irma hit.
Irma hit? So that was last year, right? In October?
It was,
That's what he said.
yeah, 17.
So 2017.
Because he was living in this little, looked like it might fall over if you blew on it too hard kind of house with his brother. So whenever Irma hit, he moved all of his stuff to where I was living because it was a big brick townhouse. Thought it'd be a little bit safer there, which it was. And when, I mean, he moved it there for the hurricane, but we just stayed living together since.
You had mentioned you all were drinking because you drank on the nights that when you didn't have to get up the next morning to do
Yeah,
anything. Did either of you work?
I do, yeah, and he helps me with work. He was working with, just recently working with,
Okay.
the solar panels that are on my house is how he got the job because the people who came to sell us thought, we're like, wow, you know a lot about this.
That's a deal there.
Maybe you should work for us. And they pretty much hired him.
Wow.
What about you?
I'm a CAM model,
Okay.
so I work from home. There's a room upstairs that has all my work stuff in it, and it's my work room, and then that's it.
Let me can you take us back to yesterday, from the time you guys woke up and to kind of how we got here today?
Yeah, as much as I can.
The best that you can. That's all we're asking for.
I woke up at 4 yesterday, like normal. Got up, I put on
Morning
my
or PM?
morning.
So
I'm a morning person.
do you work like during the night? Or
I work early mornings.
okay. So you got up around 4 p.m.
I got up at 4 a.m.
4 a.m.
yesterday. I got up at 4 a.m. Got up, got ready, my makeup and everything. Got on cam, did my work, logged off around 9:30 in the morning. And then I went and I put on my workout clothes. And he was awake. He put on his too because we had just gone and gotten new shoes together, new Nikes, so we could work out together and everything. So we got dressed and we took the dog on a walk. So it was a 30-minute walk around the neighborhood.
What time do you think you walked the dog yesterday?
Around 10.
Okay.
Around 10:30 in the morning.
What'd y'all do next?
When we got back to the house, I went out to the garage to work out more, and he stayed in the house. He was cleaning up the kitchen, put the dishes in the dishwasher, that sort of thing. I went and I took a shower whenever I got back in, and we got ready. We put on our shoes again. We went to Home Depot.
What time did you go to Home Depot?
It was around 12:30.
In the afternoon?
Yes.
I know they're not open at midnight, but I just want to be.
It was around then, yeah. After my shower and everything. And then
What'd y'all go to Home Depot for? I saw like the wooden stuff in the garage because the garage door was open, so I was just curious.
With a big pumpkin man in the yard.
Oh, yes.
And the spikes that came with him were only these little 4-inch things. And with the rain that we'd been having, the ground was so soft, he fell right over. So we got 18-inch garden spikes and just put them in the ground.
Which Home Depot did y'all go to?
The one, I don't know if it's Riverview branded, the one that's 10 minutes north of the house, off of 301. Right there by the Wawa.
Okay, I know which one you're talking about. Alright, what do you guys do once you get back to, or did you go anywhere after Home Depot?
We went to Publix because we didn't really have anything for lunch in the house, and he wanted to cook us lunch.
What did he make?
Filet. He got a big filet, cut it in half for the two of us, and cooked it up perfect.
For who did he cook it up for?
Me and him.
Oh,
His was medium rare and mine was blue, because that's how I like my steak. He cooked it up perfect for us. We had that, some bread, a little bit of cheese.
what time was lunch?
It was a late lunch for us. It was around 2 o'clock. Then we sat down to eat.
Okay. Were you all, were there any drinks at lunch?
A glass of wine. The bottle is still sitting in the kitchen. We only had a glass each.
What kind of wine was it?
It was a red, I'm not sure exactly. We got a Belgo at Publix.
Okay, what happened next?
We had just had our windows replaced in the house the last several weeks. So one of the guys from the company came by to put on the last bit of the like covers, the liners or whatever, that you had to wait until after the inspection was done. At 3 o'clock he came by to do that. He was right on time, which I was surprised because no one else in that, the workers, everything, they were always, when they were doing the windows, were so off with their time. They would say tomorrow and it would be next week kind of thing.
Yeah, when you're using subcontractors like that, it's sometimes it happens.
So they had to wait to put the screens on, you said?
It was like cut for the sliding glass doors, covers to hide all the screws and stuff.
So just like touch up, finish up
Yeah.
work, gotcha.
Just things that the inspector needed to see was there and right, and he just came to put the covers on that stuff.
Gotcha.
Do you know who the company was that came out there to do the
Reese's
windows?
Windows.
Reese's?
Yeah, REECE. Windows.
How long did that take him yesterday to do that?
20 minutes, maybe. He wasn't there long.
That's pretty efficient. Or you just don't have that
All
many
he had to
windows?
do was the sliding glass door.
Ah, okay.
So,
Okay. Alright. Once window man leaves, what happens next?
I had to do some work on the computer, answer some emails and stuff like that. So I did that until probably 5:30ish. He was just watching TV while I was doing that.
Do you have a computer up in your workroom?
I do, and I also have one in the office downstairs.
Okay. Are they laptops or
No.
desktops? Okay. What time were you done checking your emails and stuff?
It was probably 5:30ish.
Okay.
From there, I remember vacuuming. I mean, we have a husky, and vacuuming is part of our daily routine.
Lots of shitting.
I remember vacuuming, and we were trying to figure out something to do for the night if we wanted to go anywhere or anything, but we played some card games for a bit.
Do you remember what time you started playing card games?
It was around 6:15. Because the animals, the cats and the dog always get fed at 7 at night, so they started circling us, so we were playing
They're like clockwork, huh?
Oh, yes. They started to circle us around, getting closer to 6:37, so we got up and fed them. And then,
You remember what kind of games you all were playing?
rummy, blackjack, kind of, just anything.
The reason I'm asking because there's card games and there's drinking games. I don't know if you all were playing drinking games or if you were just playing rummy or solitaire.
We were playing, we played, like, when it got to, you lost this much, yeah, you take a shot, but after 3 shots, we said, okay,
Game
that's
over.
enough. Like, yeah, like, let's take a break, have some water for a minute. We stopped.
Mhm.
We did.
What time did you guys stop?
It was around the time that we had to feed the animals, probably around 7.
Okay.
Well, that's kind of what I was going to ask. When do you think you started drinking? Was it when you started playing the card games? Was it before
It was a
that?
little bit after that, yeah.
Or right after you started drinking?
He had been having beers throughout the day, but that's his thing. Like, he drinks like a fish water.
So while you're answering emails and he's watching TV, he's maybe having a few beers?
Maybe a beer or two. Actually, I don't think he was having beers at that time because he was low on beer, so he wasn't really.
What's his choice of beer?
That depends on if he's just drinking beer to drink beer or if he's drinking beer to enjoy it.
All right, so
He
you're ready to
likes-
drink beer.
Beer to drink beer, Corona, Bud Light, Lime, recently, Bud Light Lime are normally his picks. Beer, if he's trying to enjoy it, he likes IPAs, he hates lagers. IPAs. Lagunitas.
He doesn't like lagers. He likes IPAs.
Yes, he likes Lagunitas, Sweetwater,
Those are ones he enjoys.
Sierra
drinking.
Nevada.
Because those are a little bit heavier on the alcohol content, so they're.
But he only drinks those when he's wanting to just sit down and enjoy beer. He wasn't drinking that last night. He was just having Coronas. The box, I believe, is still in the refrigerator in the garage.
You said that's the beer he drinks when he just wants to just drink.
Just have beer, not trying to sit down and like really enjoy it. Just have a beer, kind of thing. We'll just have a Corona or a Bud Light, kind of thing.
Up until now, Melissa has painted Matthew as an individual with heavy alcohol dependency. It might be true, but what Melissa fails to mention is she is likely the cause of his relapse. After Matthew's murder, his brother Sean and his wife decided to investigate the murder themselves. They discovered Matthew was a part of various explicit videos shot by Melissa. Sean believes initially Matthew was willing because he saw the money it made, but with time, he started to feel unfulfilled with his role. This was likely the trigger for Matthew's alcoholism, sending him into a downward spiral.
Did you guys start drinking back at that time again, or when did you guys start picking up the?
We started drinking at around 7:30, 7:45-ish. No, it was 8 actually, because we sent Alexa a reminder for me to put the food in the oven.
What
And
was?
that took, it took 30, 45 minutes for it to heat up. We had, it was a taco fiesta mixing that he had cooked previously, and we had a lot of it left over, so we put it in a bowl and put it in the freezer to keep it for later. And we took that out earlier the day and thawed it, and we're heating that up and having that for dinner.
And that was around 8 o'clock. You said when you put it.
When I put it in, yeah. And we had a shot or two, but we kept drinking. We were drinking water and talking, and the food was done, and we each had plenty of food. Like, we were actually proud of ourselves, because sometimes we just end up just going to bed and not eating dinner because, sometimes when you drink, you just food.
Your stomach fills up and kind of swells up. And
Yeah,
you're
you
like,
just don't want to eat, you should, but sometimes you don't, and that was, but last night we didn't. We actually, we stopped drinking, purposefully stopped drinking, made ourselves just drink water,
Mhm.
and then we had dinner, a good, filling dinner, you had tortillas, there was ground beef, all the taco-y stuff and stuff, and a really big filling dinner, and we felt good after that, we felt fine.
It seems Melissa is trying to insinuate that she and Matthew were sober last night, but she also claims Matthew drank excessively later on in the night. It is easy to see that Melissa is trying to portray herself as a reliable source of information, and Matthew as an unstable individual capable of making the wrong decisions. As the interview goes on, Melissa would also imply that Matthew had potentially hurt himself.
All right, so after dinner, what happens? What do you guys do next? We're at about 9:45 now, I'd say.
Yeah, that sounds right. I was the Truly, the hard seltzers that have like
Hard seltzers.
the hard seltzers that maybe about the same as much as beer. I was having one of those. He was having a beer, Corona.
Did you drink a White Claw?
No,
You know what that is?
I know what they are. Yeah,
That's like the new fad.
I know. I don't. They're
I'm
too
just
sweet
asking.
for me.
You're not into that?
Okay.
They're too sweet for me.
Okay.
I like the Trulies. There's less sweetness and it's less sugar and stuff.
So you're drinking hard seltzer and he's drinking.
I was drinking that, so I mean, I was having that. He was having a beer. I was basically having the girly version of a beer,
Okay.
essentially. And we were doing that. And we were just talking about things. We were talking about my phone was on. We pulled up the credit card, the Capital One, because we card.
I'm sorry.
We share a card.
Uh-huh.
The Capital One card, we share a card. We were bringing it up and looking at it because of the charges and everything on it, and because it's a cashback code. And our goal was always, whenever the cashback got to 1,000, we were going to take ourselves on a vacation. And we had just hit around 600.
And that's a card you guys share?
Yes, it was his card, and then he got me added onto it, and we were talking last night about putting him onto my bank accounts and everything so he could help manage the money more and stuff. And it just both of us just keep a look over it. And we were talking about that. We talked about the Halloween decorations a bit more. We talked about vacations and what we wanted to do, and kind of just trying to sort our lives out, kind of thing. Like make sure we had a clear path with what we wanted to do with our lives.
Are you all on the same page when it comes to all that? I'm sorry, you said absolutely.
We wanted.
So there wasn't any like disagreements or any fighting, anything like that?
We didn't want kids. We had our animals. If anything, we wanted more of them. We wanted to travel the world. We wanted to just live life with each other.
This is the very first lie by Melissa that the officer caught. Initially, she claimed to have had only vodka, but now she admits to drinking beer as well. However, this would only be the start of an alibi riddled with lies as Melissa's entire story begins to fall apart.
What was his mood last night when you guys were talking about this? Is he just kind of talking about it and brushing it off? Was he excited about it? Was he stressed about anything?
The only thing that stressed him out was that he felt he wasn't doing his part to help with the house and money, because I did make the majority of the money, especially with him being out of a job. But I reassured him, as I had plenty of times, that him not just because he wasn't actually working and getting a paycheck didn't mean anything, because he was at the house taking care of the animals, cooking, cleaning, helping me, helped us, helped me have more time to make money.
So in your opinion, he's holding up his end of the deal just by doing the housework and everything like that?
Absolutely. And he was, and not even just doing the housework, he was fixing things around the house. We had a leak in our AC drain pipe, and there was a hole in the ceiling, and we were talking about fixing that, and there was a hole where he cut out where our dog started to chew the drywall. He cut it all out, and all he needed to do was put the drywall in and match it up. He was doing things. We just bought the house in January, so there was of course things that we needed to or wanted to change to suit us. And he was working all of those things.
Melissa has started to implicitly suggest that Matthew had likely harmed himself and caused his own death. But out of everyone who knew Matthew, she is the only one who says he was depressed. Melissa is also hiding the fact that Matthew was actively a part of her adult content and was not living in the house for free. He was paying his share by helping her create content, which he soon started to hate and was likely the cause of his death.
Did you go to bed? Is that what you did next?
I think, well, you get talking when you get drinking and stuff, and he was still having his beers, and I remember he was just still going and talking about stuff, and I was kind of like, yeah, I'm here, but I want to go to bed. Kind of like one of those, like, kind of, like, I'm tired.
I'm married. I'm there with you. Alright?
Like,
I know what you mean.
You do me both.
So, when you're tired, you're ready to go to bed.
Yeah.
And the other person wants to keep talking, and sometimes you're listening and you're doing the old head nod, but
yeah.
then when they say, they ask you a question, they trick you, they're like, oh, you're not listening to me.
Especially because I would get up so much earlier than him, so like
Right.
our sleep schedules were off.
4:30 is early.
And then he didn't wake up until 9 or something,
Right.
that our sleep schedules are always off. And so, like I said, 10:30, 11, I'm spent. I'm just like doing that,
What was he talking about? Do you remember?
I can't. No, I can't. It was. I was tired as shit at the point.
If you don't remember, you don't remember. I don't want to.
I think we were just. We were actually, I remember what it was we were talking about, because his mom recently he has health issues and stuff. His mom's a nurse, and she said that you might have. And we got into talking about that again, because we've gone through the symptoms, the list of it and everything, and talked about it. We were just talking about, like, my planner is probably still in the kitchen that has, be an adult, call this person, this health insurance, all this stuff. Because we were going to go get him checked out before.
He has.
We were pretty sure. His mother's been a nurse for years and years. She has more degrees than I can count.
Now, Melissa has started another one of her strategies, claiming she was tired to the point where she could not even remember their conversations. Until this point, Melissa had implied Matthew was a severe alcoholic with mental health issues and that she was so tired that she probably slept through the entire night. It is clear the type of narrative Melissa wants to portray, that of a drunk and deadbeat boyfriend. But no matter how well thought out her story is, she is about to make a mistake that will reveal everything.
Did you, say you fall asleep in the chair in the office, did you wake up at all during the night? What time did you wake up this morning?
Probably 20 minutes before I don't know what time it was. I don't even know what time it is right now.
It's 11:33 a.m.
I don't know. I normally don't sleep in. But whatever time, I remember waking up and I didn't see him around. I saw the kitchen was. I didn't see him outside at first. I didn't see him there. I went upstairs and I checked the bedroom. I thought he went to bed upstairs. I checked upstairs. And then I came back down again. And I saw Farrah by the sliding glass door. She wanted outside. She wanted to go outside, so I opened the door. I was really. And then I saw him. He was sitting in the chair, slumped over at the table. He was cold. I pulled him to the ground.
I'm sorry. I know this must be very difficult for you.
It feels like a dream. It feels like a nightmare, because when I've had nightmares, this has been it. Losing him.
When you pulled him onto the ground, what did you do? What did you try to do? Or did you do anything?
I grabbed his face. I tried to talk to him. His eyes were open. His pupils weren't doing anything. And that scared the shit out of me. I begged him to come back to me. Because I can't do this myself. I put my fingers. I tried to check for a pulse. I didn't know what to do. I ran in the house. I grabbed a cloth and put warm water on it and came back and did the same thing. I tried to start CPR. And then I went back in the house and I got my phone. It was on speakerphone with the operator while I was trying to give this.
What kind of phone do you have?
Note, the Note, whatever, Note 9, the Note 10, I don't know.
What color is it?
It's blue and an OtterBox, though it's black with the OtterBox up.
What the phone number? Carrier? Obviously, I'm sure you do.
AT&T.
Does it have any passcodes?
It has a thing, the code is 0925.
Okay. You try to give him CPR. And then, so, you're on the phone, give him CPR. Did anything else happen, or did deputies just show up?
She said that they were almost there, and I went and unlocked the door. And I went back to him, and then he came back.
Do you know where your phone's at right now?
In the kitchen, I believe. I can't tell you exactly. I remember it was in the kitchen.
I noticed that the house is 2 stories.
Yeah.
How many bedrooms are on the bottom?
No bedrooms on the bottom.
Where's the office?
It's if you walk in the front door, it's to the left.
It's to the left. Where's the kitchen?
So the stairs are in the middle, and
Okay.
it's around it. It's a big circle, pretty much. So the office is to the left, but the kitchen's on the other side of the stairs.
So when you walked out of the office, you said you slept in the office last night, right? When you walked out of the office, you had to walk. You said you walked towards the outside. You didn't see him out there, right? And
I
then you,
didn't.
and then you went upstairs to check,
It's,
but you had to pass the kitchen to go upstairs.
Yeah.
I've never been inside, so that's why I'm kind of asking.
so downstairs, there's the office, and so the front door, and the office, and then there's the laundry and the bathroom, but then the kitchen and the living room here, and then the stairs are in the middle. And I walked around, but I didn't see him.
You walked around where?
Around the whole bottom stairs.
In the kitchen?
Yeah, I
Living
went from
room?
the office to the laundry and the kitchen to the living room, and then I didn't see him, so I went upstairs, but I didn't see him in bed. The bed was still made from whenever we made it the previous day.
Melissa claims she woke up in her office, then walked to the laundry, the kitchen, living room, and lastly, her bedroom, looking for Matthew. Although this makes sense, there is one small problem with this. The entire kitchen was covered in blood. It was so gruesome that the investigating officers would call it the most bloody crime scene they had ever seen. So it's suspicious how Melissa witnessed this and didn't think to contact authorities or follow the blood trail to Matthew's body. Instead, she only discovered him after she followed her dog. This is the moment when the officer finally starts treating Melissa like the suspect in this case. From this point onwards, we will see a shift in the investigators' approach. They will start becoming a lot more inquisitive and less sympathetic.
When you woke up this morning, was there anybody else in the house?
No.
Were the windows and doors and everything shut?
Yes.
I'm just trying to wrap my head around everything. What do you think happened?
I don't know what injuries did he have, because I saw the 2 cuts on his arms. I know they were deep, but why?
I don't know. I haven't been in the house, that's why I'm asking you. You were there, obviously. You have his blood all over you.
I don't want
You're
to
trying
see
to
him.
give him CPR and help him, I understand. You said he had 2 deep cuts on his arm?
I
You know which
I think they were on, like, his arm. I mean, at that point, I started to freak out. I don't know, it might have been 1 cut, it might have been more than that. That's all I saw, though. I know there was 1, like, deep cut on his arm. But even, I didn't even think that was enough to bleed out from it. But maybe it was. And there was a broken, I don't remember the glass breaking. There's a broken glass in the kitchen that I walked past. And there was a broken beer bottle in the garage, but that's I mean, I can't attribute that to anything because the way we have the garage set up right now, it's kind of hard to open the door to the refrigerator sometimes, and I drop shit all the time.
Matthew was found with defensive wounds on his arms, one of which cut his cephalic vein, one of the 2 central veins in the human arm. If cut, it can result in significant blood loss and death in a few minutes. However, if appropriate first aid is provided, the chances of survival are incredibly high. This injury was coupled with a laceration on the chest and a small stab on the back. According to experts, Matthew's cause of death was excessive blood loss due to the cut on his arm. Tragically, the bleeding from a cephalic vein is easy to stop using basic first aid techniques. The worst part is, Melissa already knew this, as she admits in her 911 call to having received medical training and standard first aid training courses, which means she did not need to wait for authorities to deliver first aid. In Matthew's case, the most basic technique of direct pressure could have saved his life, but unfortunately, Melissa had no intentions of saving him.
What we'd like to do is we're going to have a young lady or a young man come and just photograph you, take some overall photographs of you, and when we get to it, we'll have you move that so we can get a picture of that, okay? Would you mind
I think
taking
I
your...
did grab the glass, though.
I was going to say, would you mind just taking those gloves off for me?
You can put them right in that trash can.
Yeah, I have a little cut on my hand. But
Can we see your
right there.
And that's from what?
I think it's from grabbing the glass. Or, because I know there was the broken glass this morning. I'm sorry, this morning's not the clearest thing in my mind. Wait.
Do you know where or
I
what?
remember it was a Hard Rock glass, I believe, in the kitchen, and I think I picked up a piece of it on the floor.
What about your other hand there? I don't want to get all up in your grill. Can you just put your hands out just so I can see them there? What's... I know you got a lot of stuff on your hands. It's just blood.
A week and a half ago, I grabbed a hot pan and burnt my hand.
Okay, yeah, I can see a little bit of discolor there.
Yeah, it's still tender, but I burnt my hand. That was my own dumbass fault. I just grabbed a hot pan and finishing.
Let me see your ring.
That's your guys' engagement ring? Wow, beautiful.
He was saving up to make a formal proposal to me whenever he could afford the ring that he knew I wanted. I told him I didn't give a shit about that, but he wanted it to be perfect for me. So this was more of a promise ring than anything. It was a step between his official proposal to me. It was...
Although the cut on Melissa's hand is extremely suspicious, the officers decide now is not the time to pressure Melissa. So after interviewing her regarding other basic information, they conclude the interview to get more insight on Melissa's case and rework their strategy. After the first interview, they call in other officers to take pictures of Melissa's wounds and treat her. They also provide her with fresh sets of clothes and take DNA samples to compare with the scene. With all of the procedures out of the way, the officer starts Melissa Turner's second interview, but this time, They are ready to crack down on all of Melissa's predetermined defenses.
Just want to follow up. Got a couple more questions for you here. Can I move the chair back over here for you, if you don't mind?
You're not hiding in the corner.
There you go. Sit right there. Nothing's changed. You're free to leave whenever you'd like. You don't have to answer any of our questions. You're not under arrest, anything like that. Okay? I just need you to, I just need to know that you understand that, okay?
Yeah.
All right. Looked a little bit more. We thought your scratch was kind of small, but then we saw that it was bigger. But we also saw, like, it looks like we call it abrasion, but maybe a scratch. Tell me about that on the left side of your neck, yeah.
This, that I don't have an actual explanation for you besides, I mean, I don't know. I could have done it myself this morning for all I know, going through my panic attacks and stuff, because I don't hurt myself, but sometimes I do, like when I have an anxiety or a panic attack, I'll grab at myself without realizing it. So I don't know if that's that, but I don't know.
Did somebody else scratch you?
Not that I know of, no.
Would you know if somebody scratched you? Okay. Because you said not that I know of, so.
I mean, I don't know
if
where
he
it
scratched
came
me,
from.
I would know he scratched me type of thing. That's why I'm asking.
I have no, like, real explanation for it besides, like, I do this when I get anxious, and this morning's been a roller coaster, and it's all been downhill.
No. And earlier when we were talking to you, we didn't know about that, so that's why we didn't ask about it.
I don't know.
Scratch on your stomach, or the abrasion on your stomach when the Miss Patel was taking photographs, you had a red line.
Yeah, the
right
mark
there.
on my stomach. Could be from leaning over the counter, or I don't know. It's a straight line, so it's not like I got hit or something.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know if you looked at the photo, but it's like, it looks like I leaned over something wrong, or like.
It's very level. I would say.
Yeah,
it's
that's
very
what I
level.
mean. Like, I could be like me leaning over the counter or something like that. I mean, we were putting up the Pumpkin Man, doing a little bit in the yard in the garage yesterday, and I'm accident prone.
And you said, tell me again how you cut yourself?
I don't remember exactly. Because I remember it was this morning, because I remember getting some of the blood on him. I think I was looking for a phone, and I was panicking and picked up the glass, because I knew it was this morning. I remember that. I think I just couldn't find a phone at the time between the mess that the kitchen was, and I was just panicking.
That's a pretty significant cut.
Yeah, well, I was panicking pretty bad.
Does that look like a glass cut?
I don't know what it looks like. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't.
It must have been a pretty big piece of glass.
Well, I remember there was the glass in the kitchen was a big mug.
Okay.
So it could have been that. I picked that up and was panicking, kind of. I don't know. I just remember it was this morning.
It is weird that Melissa described every minute detail, but somehow forgot she was injured. Investigators believe Melissa sliced her hand during the struggle when she tried to stab Matthew, which would explain both the injury on her hand and her reluctance to remove her gloves initially.
You said that last night you never woke up at all.
Not that I know.
You either did or you don't. I'm not tricking. This isn't a trick question.
No, I don't remember waking up. I remember laying down, and I remember waking up in the same spot.
The deputy, I spoke to the deputy at the scene, and he said when he first spoke with you, you made a comment to him and had said that, well, what were you and Matthew arguing about last night?
I don't really remember. I mean, we might have gone in an argument, but it didn't seem like anything. I mean, sometimes we do whenever we get one of us, you know, whenever he drinks a little too much, but I always just brush it off and go to bed. It could have been, I'm not exactly, I don't know.
Well, the reason I'm asking is because you told the deputy that you guys were arguing. And you've been pretty detailed about everything that happened yesterday. I mean, even how you woke him up yesterday, that's pretty detailed. So I would think you would remember what you guys were arguing about. That's why I'm asking.
Because, I mean, he did have a lot to drink last night, I know that, but I don't really remember it because it kind of is not that we fight and argue all the time, but he just, you know, will just get drunk sometimes and he gets a little too amped, like wants to, I don't know, he goes on about something. Like I said, I think it was when I said he was talking, I think that's kind of ties into it. Like, I just want to go to bed, and he would be like, you know, no, like, stay up with me, come on, let's have fun, blah, blah, blah. And we'd get in arguments about that sometimes because I just can't stay up, I'm just tired. And he would, drunk him would get, like, disappointed about it. So it's not, like, actual arguing, but it was more, like, made me feel guilty kind of thing. Like, we weren't, like, screaming at each other that I know of. We were just...
How long were you guys arguing for?
I don't know exactly. Like, I wasn't keeping tabs on the time.
5 minutes?
Maybe 10.
An hour?
10, 15, I would say. Is normally our back and forth. And me, I'm like, drink some water and shut up kind of thing normally.
You probably weren't arguing with him when you had the hiccups in the...
Oh no, we weren't arguing then. I don't know because he was trying to calm me down.
It must have been after the burping and the hiccups and before you went to sleep.
Yeah, it had to have been then.
Well, you mentioned the argument may have been because you just wanted to go to sleep and he's wanting to hang out and talk.
That happens, yeah.
Okay, but that was also the time you were basically falling asleep while he was giving him the and just whatever he was talking about.
That's about right.
But is it fair to say that you guys were arguing, but you just don't remember what you were arguing about?
You could say that, but I can't.
I'm not saying anything. I'm asking you. I mean, you guys.
It's fair to say we may have been, but we might not have been.
Okay.
I mean, because it wasn't significant enough for me to actually remember it.
Okay.
Seems like maybe a little tiff, back and forth, normal shit, but nothing monumental.
Okay. Tell me about what happened around 4 o'clock this morning.
4 o'clock? What happened at 4 o'clock?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking you.
I don't know either. Why?
Was there any arguing
At 4 o'clock? Not that I know of.
You would know because either you were sleeping or you weren't.
I believe I was asleep.
Okay. Were you asleep at 4 o'clock this morning?
To my knowledge, yes.
Do you remember being awake at 4 o'clock this morning?
No.
Did you and Matthew get in an argument at 4 o'clock this morning?
No.
Or 4:30, somewhere around that time frame?
Not that I know of.
Okay.
And any time between when you went to bed at 11 to when you woke up, I think you said 20 minutes before you called us, right?
It was right around, yeah.
So let me just make sure I have the right time so I'm not talking...
The call came in at 8:45.
8:45 is when the call came in, so you said about 20 minutes, maybe, even if you lost track of time, say you wake up at 8. Any time between you went to bed at 11 last night to 8 this morning, did you have any arguments with Matthew?
No, not that I know of.
Melissa's claims about nothing happening except a standard argument seem plausible, as there is a possibility that Matthew's drunken state sparked a disagreement. However, there was one crucial piece of evidence that would tear this entire alibi down: CCTV cameras that deputies found that were pointing directly towards Melissa's house. And when they checked the footage, they would be able to piece together what really happened.
Get up! Now! Get up! Just die! You haven't heard me. Just die!
It was clear Melissa was wide awake during this time and had lied to the officer. Melissa and Matthew had an aggressive argument that most probably escalated and soon resulted in Matthew's tragic demise. And fortunately, This footage would be instrumental in proving Melissa's lies, as detectives have already been informed about it and decided to confront her head-on.
I mean, you say that, but
Let me say this. So, we've been talking to the neighbors. There's cameras all over the neighborhood. There's Ring doorbell cameras and everything.
Okay.
Okay? Sometimes when we ask questions, we usually know the answers to them already. That's why we're
Yeah.
asking you this
That's
question.
why I'm getting the feeling.
Around 4 o'clock this morning, something happened at your house. That's why we're asking.
Okay. What
The only
happened?
person, I don't know, the only person that can tell us that is you, because unfortunately Matthew's not here.
Yes,
I-
I know.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I don't know.
Okay.
What were the neighbors saying? What?
It ain't what the neighbors are saying, it's what's on
What is-
video.
what-
There's arguing coming from the house. It's a male and a female. And you told us earlier in your statement that the only people that were there all night long were you and Matthew.
I have no memory of any argument at 4 in the morning.
Okay.
If it was at 4 in the morning, I will tell you right now, I did not stay up until 4 in the morning. I don't know, maybe it's possible he was still up and drunk and woke me up and we got in an argument over that.
Did that happen?
If it was 4 in the morning, then my ass was dead ass asleep, and if he woke me up, then I was still half asleep.
Okay. So tell me about the argument that you and Matthew had around 4 o'clock this morning.
I have no memory of that.
Okay. But it wasn't anybody else because there wasn't anybody else there. I'm being totally transparent with you.
I have given you the information that I have.
Okay. Well, just asking because something happened there. Matthew, unfortunately, is no longer with us, and I have some video surveillance that he overhears a conversation, actually yelling and screaming between a male and a female, coming from your house. So, I know you drank some, but you said you weren't on any drugs or taking any medication, so
No.
I tend to believe that he may have woke you up. For why he woke you up, I don't know. Why you guys were arguing?
I know he got really drunk, so I
don't
can't
know.
say. I mean, sometimes when he got really drunk, he got really drunk. He would say, like, he was an alcoholic. He got belligerent sometimes. Not hurt me, not touch it, but he would get just drunk, like, out of control drunk.
Let me ask you this. When you went to sleep, let's say approximately 11 o'clock last night, and until you woke up this morning,
Mm-hmm.
did you use your cell phone to call anybody or anything?
Not that I know of. Did I do it without me remembering?
Do you have a tendency to do things without you remembering?
No. That's
Okay.
why I'm confused right now.
I'm a little confused too. That's why I was asking.
Yeah, because that's not me. Not
So
at
if
all.
something happened, you would remember?
Yes, I don't really have memory lapses.
But you don't remember this morning?
I do not remember 4 o'clock this morning, no.
here's, and I'm just gonna.
Okay, just no bullshit, please.
Exactly, no
Okay,
bullshit.
cool.
Let's do that, because here's the thing. He's sitting here telling you, he's playing his cards, he's showing his hand to you. You guys played cards last night, you guys know how to play cards, right?
Yeah.
He's showing his hand right now, he's telling you that we have evidence that there's arguing coming from your house at
Correct.
4 o'clock in the morning. So, I don't want you to go down a road where you say that you just have no memory of that.
Okay.
What we need from you that would probably be a lot better off and make a lot more sense is to come forward and tell us what that argument was about it for you, rather than say you don't remember.
The argument was him waking me up because he was a night person, as I've told you guys. Him staying up till 4 in the morning whenever he got drunk is not unheard of. I would say he woke me up and we got in an argument over that because he was still up at 4 in the morning drinking. When he had a problem, he knew about it, he knew he should fix it, he was trying to work on it, but being up at 4 in the morning, drunk off your ass, wasn't doing anybody any good. And that was what the argument was about then.
Okay, so just so I'm clear, you do have memory of what happened, right? At 4 o'clock.
Yes.
Okay. So you're obviously upset because, so just so I'm following, he's drinking until the wee hours of the morning.
Right.
And that upsets you because of whatever he's doing wakes you up, and that's why you were upset.
I'm upset, yeah, because he comes and wakes me up, but also because...
Did he purposely come and shake you and wake you up, or did he just be noisy and that's what woke you up?
For me and for me to wake up like that, he woke me up.
Okay.
Himself.
And so, what happens from there then? Now that you're awake and you're having this memory of arguing with him at 4 o'clock, what do you remember from that time?
I remember having the argument. I don't remember the kitchen there was no broken glass, there was no blood anywhere, nothing. I just remember arguing with him.
Was there anybody else there?
Not that I saw.
From Melissa's words, it seems like Matthew was the aggressor, but the CCTV footage showed something else. The investigators also found an ADT camera inside Melissa's house, which had recorded the couple's aggressive interaction. According to Melissa's ex-boyfriend, Cameron Waliga, Melissa had changed a great deal after she started gaining attraction on her adult content. He claimed Melissa became obsessive with money, and as her popularity grew, she became even more unstable. He even described her as highly unpredictable and as someone who would scream till your ears felt pierced. This led Sean to believe his brother had possibly decided to put an end to making videos with Melissa, which led to the heated argument. Cameron also believes Melissa would never do anything without planning, and that she had picked Matthew specifically for making adult content because Matthew did have all the perfect attributes. He was attractive, young, and extremely vulnerable both financially and emotionally. Even in the video, Matthew appears calm, whereas Melissa appears to be going through a manic episode. However, when questioned, she had a completely different narrative.
Well, you guys have a doorbell camera, right?
Oh, we have a camera, yeah. It's a motion activated one, so but it's on a delay. So if my dog walks past and sets it off, 10 seconds before, it's not gonna go off again when the door opens. Through the. Does that make? Yeah, and it's got the delay on it, so it's not just constantly recording things.
So when you were arguing with Matthew, there was nobody else there that you saw?
No, not that I saw.
Okay. Why were you yelling at him? Get up, all that stuff?
Because he has a tendency sometimes, actually a lot of the times whenever he is drinking and gets that drunk into the hours of the morning, he will just fall over. He'd be standing, he'd be sitting, and he will just fall on the floor because he just gets that drunk. And I might have been, yeah, so I was upset with him and was yelling at him because I was upset that he had done that again.
I want to keep asking you some more questions.
Okay.
But I'm kind of at a point where I want to read you a couple things, okay? This is an affidavit that we have. Have you ever been arrested before, anything like that?
No.
All right. Do you know what your Miranda rights are?
Are you arresting me?
No, I'm not arresting you. What I'm doing is protecting you, your constitutional rights, because I want to ask you some more questions. But I want to read you your rights and afford you the opportunity to listen to those rights before I continue to ask you any questions.
Okay.
Is that fair?
Yes.
Okay. Listen, there's no tricks here, all right? I'm not a magician. I'm just trying to figure out what happened.
Okay.
All right? You have rights, and I just want to make sure that they're protected. I'm gonna read them to you, and then you can read them to yourself. As I read them, I'll just have you initial them. You got your pen still? You got your pen right there?
Sorry, not about the changing of it.
Put your notebook there. All right. We good? Okay. All right. It says, can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I, Melissa Turner, do hereby consent to being interviewed by the below listed Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office law enforcement official concerning the above listed incident/offense, and I further understand that 1. I have the right to remain silent and can invoke this right at any time during questioning. Do you understand that?
Yes.
I'm going to read them all to you, and then you can initial them if you'd like. Number 2, if I do make a statement, it can and will be used against me. Let me read it again. I messed it up. Number 2, if I do make a statement, it can and will be used against me in a court of law. Number 3, I have the right to speak with and have an attorney present during questioning. Number 4, if I cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed to me without charge before any questioning if that is my desire. Do you understand that?
Yes.
If I wish to make any statement, I may invoke my right to an attorney or to remain silent at any time during the questioning. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Number 6, I understand these rights, and no one has threatened, coerced, or promised me anything in order to induce me to make a statement. I presently wish to make a statement and or answer questions without an attorney being present. If you agree to continue the interview with us, I would ask that you initial next to each one of those numbers on the line, and then sign. That's your name, Melissa Turner. You can sign right next to it. Okay? We're good. Just go ahead and date it. It's Friday, October 18th still, at 1:48 p.m.
You can throw the pen down or whatever you want to do with the gloves there.
Okay. So, tell me a little bit more about the argument.
He was still up and he was drunk and being loud and I mean, he wasn't harming me or anything like that. He was just still awake at 4 in the morning being drunk, and then he did the thing that, I mean, he's done it so many times over where he just gets drunk to the point that he just falls over. And he's done it millions of times, and he'll be standing up and just fall over, or sitting down and just fall on the floor. And the next morning he'll wake up with bruises on himself and not remember it. And I have to drag him to try and get him on the couch sometimes. Getting him upstairs isn't really an option. I try and put him on the couch and try and drag him over there sometimes. Sometimes I end up just putting a pillow under his head where he's at on the floor.
Do you love him? Do you love him?
With all of my heart.
I can see that. Every time you shed a tear, it rolls all the way down your cheek, goes to your chin, and lands in your shirt. And your shirt is soaked. That's a shirt full of tears.
We may have gotten in an argument at 4 in the morning. I would never, and he would never, we never would do anything to harm each other. We had a life together. We had plans, and everything was going perfect for us.
Is it routine for him to wake you up like that early in the morning?
Absolutely not.
How did it make you feel when he woke you up this morning?
I was pissed off. I was angry at him.
But you love him, right?
Absolutely.
Why would you say go f yourself so many times? Because I can tell you this, as a husband, I've never told my wife, go f yourself. I've never done that. Now, I don't know, all I know about your history with him is what you told me today. But what I can say, I've never done that as a husband. Okay?
You might not have ever done that as a husband, but when he gets that drunk, sometimes he himself says a lot of nasty things to me, and sometimes just saying go f yourself, f off, is just better than trying to deal with what he's saying. Because I know in the morning he wakes up, he won't remember a word he said. He won't remember passing out on the floor. He won't know why he has a big bruise up his back, because he fell over onto the counter one time and then hit the floor, and he couldn't figure out the next day why his back and his head hurt so much. I love him, and he was a good man, is a good man. But he said a lot of nasty shit whenever he got drunk sometimes.
And that happens a lot.
Recently, no. In the past, it's been...
When I say that, it happens a lot. We see it a lot in our profession.
Not just you two specifically.
I'm saying when I say we see that a lot, it happens a lot. I'm not saying to your situation. I'm just saying in general.
Yes.
You know, and sometimes people make mistakes. You know, I'm sure he loves you, but when he's drinking alcohol, he says bad things. But those bad things still come out of his mouth, and they still make you mad.
Yeah.
Right? You also said a couple of other things like, stay down, so die. What are you talking about?
That was me being pissed off at him that he fell over.
He fell over.
When he got drunk and fell over.
How? Where did he fall over at?
The first time was in the kitchen.
Okay.
Like near the pantry.
Mm-hmm. Did he get hurt?
I don't know, as hard as you get from falling from over onto a tile floor. Not particularly.
Well, sometimes when you're drunk,
exactly.
you lose your equilibrium and you could fall and hit your head or anything like that. What about the second time when he fell over? Because you said the first time, so I'm assuming there was a second time. Where did he fall over?
Not more than, I don't believe it was more than a few feet away. He tried to get back up. And then...
Let me ask you something. We've been sitting here talking for a few minutes, probably an hour or two at least. You told us that you guys were there, there's only two of you, the two of you were drinking. At first you didn't want to tell us about the argument at 4 o'clock this morning, but you did, so I appreciate that, okay? But my problem is I got Matthew on the back porch with stab wounds.
Stab wounds?
Or wounds from a sharp object, okay? And the only people that were there were you and him. So I'm trying to figure out what happened, because earlier when I asked you if he was right-handed or you were right-handed, you said he had 2 deep cuts, is what you said.
That I saw.
That you
on
saw.
his arm.
Right. So how did he get those cuts?
That I don't know.
Well, he probably didn't do it to himself. And the only other person that was there was you. So I'm just trying to figure out and give you the opportunity to explain what happened. Because I'm going to be honest with you. I've been doing this a long time, and I've talked to a lot of people, and this situation, though I wasn't there, there's 3 sides to the story. There's your version,
his version, and the
his
truth.
version, and the truth.
I'm aware.
What I'm trying to give you the opportunity is, I'm trying to give Melissa the opportunity to be this good person over here that may have got upset and reacted out of anger and not her normal character, or this person over here that just is mean, manipulative, raging, angry, killer.
Premeditated.
Okay?
That's-
Was it an accident? Because you were upset he woke you up?
I
Or
would
was
never
it something that
stab
would-
him.
Okay. Well, what happened? Help me, okay?
That I don't know.
Help me help you.
I don't know that
He's got wounds. The only people that think of it from let's imagine
understand,
you're
but
sitting right here,
I
okay?
don't know.
Okay. Let's just imagine for a second that you're sitting here in my seat and I'm sitting in yours, and I'm telling you the same story you're telling me. It doesn't even something happened. I need to know, was it an accident? Or just you reacting because you were upset and then you realized, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did this? Or was this something that was planned that you were going to be doing this?
Absolutely not plan it.
I don't know.
Help us understand is what he's saying.
I love that man with all my heart. I never had those thoughts in my mind. My thoughts were, what am I going to buy him for Christmas? I don't know what happened. If it was an accident, then something. I wouldn't have let him just die had I known that anything like that had happened.
So there was no accidents.
I did not.
Because I'm gonna give you another little tidbit. There was something else that was overheard on that video.
What?
I'm not going to tell you what it was. I'm not going to give you everything. I told you I've been doing this for a little while. I'm not going to give you everything. I've given you enough. I've given you enough.
At this moment, the officer is referencing the phrase where she yells at him to die. Now he plans to keep her in the dark to cause panic and possibly accidentally reveal more information.
You said something else. It doesn't look very good for yourself in regards to this incident. I want you to think back about that argument that you had and everything that you were saying, or that you could have said. You made a statement. I'm not going to tell you what it was. But what I will ask, what did you do? Which one? This one? Or this one?
That one is not me.
Tell me about this one. I know that you wouldn't intentionally do it, but I know that an argument happened, and the only two that were there were you and him. He's dead. You're not. You got a slice on your hand. A slice. That's what that is. It's a slice. How did that happen? It's not from glass. I can tell you that. I've been doing this.
I mean, I know I picked up, maybe it wasn't from it. I know I picked up the glass this morning. Maybe it wasn't from it.
I've been doing this for a long time. This one?
It is
This
that
one.
one.
It's this one. Tell me. Tell me what happened. He pissed you off then. You didn't want to get up. He drinks too much. He called you names. You didn't like it. You got fed up with it. You said, F it. You actually said, go f yourself.
And he's told me to go f myself.
I know.
So help us understand that he's telling you you're saying you're not a cold-blooded kid, right? Okay. So obviously something happened because Matthew isn't with us. So what we're trying to get is what led to that versus the other side that just makes you look like a cold-blooded kid. You sit here and say you don't know.
Listen, I just held my hands out, and when I said this one or this one, you said not that one, that one.
I would not.
I don't think you would intentionally do it. I don't. I see all those tears right there in the middle of your chest. I need to know why. What happened? The only person that could have done this is you. You're the only person there.
Right now, the officer is trying to agitate Melissa to try to get her to confess. Unfortunately, even emotional play doesn't get her to admit her own faults.
He's never. He was never violent towards me.
So why did you react that way? I'm asking you. I'm asking you.
He's...
This one or this one? This is your chance.
He gets drunk. He's never been violent towards me. He does get his knives out sometimes. And I don't want to tell you that he's put his hands on me. It's because it's not like he hits me, but he sometimes would maybe grab me or something and try, like, that sort of thing. He didn't hit me, and anything like this only happened whenever he was that drunk, where he was gone. He wasn't him anymore. I can't tell you why, if that's... Talking about it more now, thinking back on it. This is from me grabbing a knife out of his hand. I don't remember which one it was that he had. But it was from taking the knife out of his hand.
And then what happened?
I don't even know if I got the knife away from him doing this, but I know he had it. I don't... Do I need a lawyer?
That's a decision you're gonna have to make. I can't say whether or not you can. We're not attorneys, we're lawyers.
If you think you need one, that's totally up to you.
I didn't get the knife out of his hand with that. I pissed him off trying to do that. I swear he'd never hit me, never laid a hand on me, even when drunk. I will not let his name go down like that. But I do remember pissing him off when I tried to get the knife out of his hand. Because that was me. That's me. If you won't hand it over, if I can't get it out of his hand, I'll just grab the blade and get it out that way, if that's the only part of the knife I can grab to get it away from him. It's the first time I've done it. Because normally I can get the blade away from him. I pissed him off trying to do it. And things kind of escalated from there.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, my neck isn't from me. My jaw's sore, like I got hit. And I remember being thrown over the counter, lying on my stomach. I think in the moment, things things just escalated. Like I said, he got pissed off, got a little more aggressive with what he was doing.
Okay, and how did you react?
I was scared at first. He always scares me. Even his voice can scare me sometimes when he takes on a certain tone. I'm not trying to be dumb about this. I'm a lawyer.
I'm going to go ahead and conclude the interview at 14:06 hours.
Melissa finally admitted to the altercation that occurred between them. She claims Matthew abused her, but there is no other evidence except her words that support this. In fact, it is Melissa who has a history of being unstable and abusive in relationships. It's still obvious she is purposefully omitting several details about the incident, but since she requested for a lawyer, the officers can no longer question her. Instead, they decide they have enough probable cause to finally put Melissa, the initial witness of the crime, into handcuffs as the actual killer.
Statements and the evidence, we're going to have to place you under arrest, okay?
We'll let you continue eating this. I'm just going to hold it for you for now, okay?
Is it drink right at your foot?
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'll put these on your feet, okay? You still have those shoes on there?
No.
Take them off.
They collected them.
No, please don't kick me.
Move your leg forward a little bit so you can get to it.
I'm not pinching you, am I?
No.
Is that too tight?
No.
Yes or no?
No.
We got to do some paperwork, and then we'll get you over to the jail. Meanwhile, we're going to move you over to the other holding cell, and we'll let you eat that, okay?
Melissa had been on bail after her arrest in 2019 until her trial finally took place in February of 2022. During her trial, Melissa's attorney claimed Melissa had stabbed Matthew only to defend herself, as Matthew had been abusive towards her and was attempting to strangle her on the day of his murder. However, the prosecutors would cast suspicions about this claim because Melissa mentioned nothing related to strangulation until just a few days before her trial. Contrary to what Melissa claimed in her interview, during her trial, she testified that Matthew would punch and push her into walls. She described him as a completely unstable alcoholic who would often have hallucinations, especially on the night of the incident, where allegedly Matthew called himself the demon while holding a knife and trying to harm Melissa. Matthew's alcohol level on the day of his death was 5 times above the legal limit of Florida, which worked in Melissa's favor. However, there is still no proof that would support the claims of domestic violence and mental instability. The videos from ADT footage also showed the argument had stopped at 5 a.m., whereas Melissa called 911 around 8:45 a.m. When questioned about this, Melissa claimed Matthew had slammed her head during the physical altercation, and therefore she blacked out inside her office. The jury believed Melissa had witnessed the extent of Matthew's injury and still didn't contact authorities. They rejected her claims of self-defense and charged her with second-degree homicide. Melissa was sentenced to 20.5 years in prison. Do you think Melissa really did this out of self-defense? Yes or no? Let me know in the comments.